I've received numerous requests for information about our strengthening and conditioning exercises, so let's take a few minutes and look at them. This first drill, and we do it 4 ways, so this particular method I learned from one of my teachers, Dr. John Cochran. He's the only martial artist I ever met with a PhD in economics. What we'll do is we'll do the drill from several different angles, give you some idea, and then we'll break it down after that. So I'm going to use Doug again here, as Doug feeds. Again. Very good. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. Again. This is the first and most basic of our shell drills. We'll break it up into 3 components: ducking, striking, and timing. We're talking about ducking in the shell drill. Ducking away when he fires, and your hands are up like so, and he's coming in, he's using an open hand. So between the ducking away and the open hand, even if he hits me, he's not doing it now, he's not going to mess up my hair. Even if he hits me, it's minimal impact. What I don't want to get in the habit of doing is ducking into this. Now sometimes you can move inside an arm, but you don't want to meet the arm like this. So you're practicing to duck away. When you duck away, as he fire with the right hand, I pick up my feet and drop. Now, with the left hand, same thing, pick up my feet and drop. You just want to use gravity to take you down. This is not a soft landing. But if you're going at it fairly quickly, what you might see is this. You're going to do 2. You do a right and a left. So he fires the right, 1. Okay, I come in and I punch, and he does 2. Boom. Now I'm ducking here. One more time. I'm going to come up and I'm going to hit, and 1. This guy here just sort of slides back. That happens. It's just part of the action that you're doing it. When you're doing it, you want to think about your legs and the position that they're in. You want to have them like this, forming the bottom half, say, of a swastika. Okay? This one's parallel to the deck, perpendicular. This one matches this one. This one matches that one. You don't want to be kneeling on your knee. Just a pea-sized pebble will cure that permanently, first time you ever do it. You got to keep your hands up, Doug. He's going to fire the left. I'm too close to this guy to get lazy. So I can't just drop like this. I've got to keep them up. I also want to keep my head, my hip, and my heel. Stay there. As I duck here, my head, my hip, and my heel, the Triple H, all on the same proximate line. I don't want to bend over with my back, because then you're hanging a lot of weight out over your legs. Now we're going quite low, but going this low makes anything less in the street just a piece of cake. In the striking part of this drill, the uppercuts when you do them, as Doug fires, I come in, the uppercuts are tight. They're tight to my body, right to my ribs, as I'm digging them into his ribs. That's the point. The posture is really critical because I want to think of this as the rear sight, this is the front sight, and this is the target. I also want to punch with the entire side of my body so that it's not just an arm out here detached from the rest of me. You might get away with that for one sting, make the guy back up a little bit, but you're not really going to hurt him until you dig it in like so. When I come back and I make the second one against his elbow and I shoot this, he's feeding me an elbow back, and I don't want to get lazy here, so I have the guy who's feeding me just fire it back, and I angle this forward. Then I'm driving this in, and I have the same alignment that you saw from this side. I have the same alignment here. This is forward. My hand is like this. You can do this if you want, and sometimes when I get lazy, I'll do the same thing. But this is what you want. It's pennies for the poor, soon I'll be rich. Or, hey, you want some of him? Huh? You want some of this? He loves that. He's a tough guy. He can do this. So I'm going to hit him in this angle, anchor it in, drive it in hard. Okay? Now, the timing for this, his part of it, he simply strikes across, does a pause, and comes back. Okay? Now, watch this as he fires. Then I come in and I make my blow. That's when he does his pause, and then he comes back. The shearing palm is going to catch him just like this. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hit this. I want my fingers on his neck. I want this center part of my hand right on the corner of his jaw. I'm going to smack it, and I'm planning on hitting him with a blow like that that stings so bad he turns his head away. The same time he turns his head in this direction, I either immobilize it or give it a quick shot that way. So you get that shearing effect. Now I talk about shearing in detail in Indonesian Fighting Fundamentals and in his companion video, Fighting Arts of Indonesia. So I won't go into it a lot right here. But you'll see the same thing is used in the shell drill that we do with the palm coming up next. Before going into the next shell drill, the palm version, you may need some convincing regarding training equipment and its relation to training methods. What do I mean? Groin protection. Man or woman, you cannot practice this next drill without good groin protection. And before any beetle-browed Neanderthal asks, no, a soft cup for the guys is not good groin protection. I say man or woman because equality in training works two ways. The ladies' training partners, male or female, must wear groin protection, so the ladies can practice hitting the groin accurately and with power. If they don't, their practice is ineffectual. This applies to both genders, but more so for the ladies. Likewise, the guys need their female partners to wear groin protection, because when working with her male partner, the female becomes a stand-in for a male assailant. Anything less from the female partner, and she essentially cheats her male partner. And that's not training equally. I said all that because you simply cannot practice the next drill without good groin protection. That's because in this drill, we strike the groin. We don't miss, we don't stop short, we don't strike light or with controlled contact. I'm not going to rehash or refute every lame excuse for not training with a cup on. But I will say this, you do exactly what you train to do. If in your training you stop short of striking the groin, you're going to stop short out there. If you strike the thigh to simulate the groin, then you'll miss the groin in a real fight when your heart rate's up to about 175 beats per minute. In a fight, you'll do quite literally what you train to do. All right, enough said about that. We'll do this version of the drill moving from your left to right and show you how the palm version plays out. Neil? Neil's going to feed the punch, I drop. Now when I come in and hit, boom! Rear sight, front sight. This knee and ball of the back foot position is critical. Proper knee alignment keeps my guns pointed on my opponent. When I move in here, just as my elbow and my punch were aligned in this rear sight, front sight target alignment, so is my heel and my knee lined on their potential targets. This is applying the Lanka principles in our leg conditioning drill. The nice thing about this is when you get these alignments to where they're automatic, you never need to aim. You're always aimed. All you need to do is pull the trigger. Your technique automatically, if you do it right, puts you in the right position. This idea that one strike positions you for another strike is a lot like baton work. If you strike correctly, that is, your strike always ends up in a position from which you can immediately strike again. This kind of proper striking by default invariably leaves you well protected and without having to spend 1 minute practicing blocks. Practice good striking and the blocking, which is actually covering, will take care of itself. Practicing these shell drills properly does exactly that. When I strike across here and I'm in this position for the shearing palm, just like so, you saw that in reflex action. Hopefully, I hope you bought the video. You saw that in the 2-count drill. Here is my target. Here is where that hand is applied. The palm to the groin, you also can see in the Kun Tao Silat 5-count drill as count number 5. Speaking of reflex action, when we do Kilop hands 3+, the elbow drill with the leg work, I check, I whip it, I smash, well, duh, it's the same leg work when I'm hitting him in the groin. This drill reinforces the habit of alignment that you'll use again and again and again, even in other drills, seemingly unrelated drills. You see, the more complete your system becomes, the more you'll see things tying together, reinforcing the same sound principles and practices. Let's look now at how we can do this shell drill and incorporate a hacksaw. Good enough. I don't need to make that any redder. Okay, let's break this one down. Now, all the points made earlier in the punch, the palm methods, they apply to this method as well. As he strikes, ducking away, the seat or the drop, the legs forming the bottom half of the swastika, the triple H alignment, the head, the hip, and the heel. Not too far, not too straight up. Not kneeling down on the rear knee. The hands are still up. This time, however, the strike changes. The first hacksaw strikes into his thigh. The second sinks into his ribs. Now the tough part here is with this hand sinking into his ribs, the shearing palm gets a little tougher. I've got to pivot in here and slip it out. But it's still very doable. You may be thinking, okay, that's a good drill. It really conditions and strengthens the legs. But I don't know about that hack to the leg. Let's say I slip. Forget ducking into this position. I've just fallen down. If I pop up without doing something to shake him up, I'm going to run into a firestorm before I ever get into a good position to put up a decent fight. By hacking the thigh and folding him at the hips, causing him to move, whatever. I don't knock him back. The idea is to set him up for the next lanka. I want to be pressing right against this leg now so I can really tear him up. You might be down here all right. You stay down here. You fight down here. Now you can ruin his day. Oh, by the way, this works too. I know one of the things I'd be concerned with were I to see this for the first time. And that's the long climb up to make that second hack. But keep one thing in mind. This is only a drill. It's a drill designed to do a couple of things. Condition your legs. The down, the up, the down. They really burn the thighs. But the second thing it is to provide a situation where you can practice hacksaws in a way you might not otherwise do. Watch this. He ducks. I hack, shoot for the other leg, now he goes down. I've just applied the lanka. Pretty nice, huh? In this hacksaw method, as you'll see in the elbow method in just a moment, when you're down, stay down. When you attack his legs, don't come up unless there's a reason to. I mean, that's a terrible energy drain. Besides, what's he got to hit? Top of my head? That'll do more damage to his hand than it will to my head. But there is another thing you can do from this position. You can attack his near leg with your shoulder. Once you hack the thigh, you simply lock on the ankle, press forward with your shoulder, and he's going to go down. Granted, this is a desperation move, but it proves that you're always down, up, whatever. You're always in a position to hit something. Let's look now at the elbow version of the shell drill. Okay, let's break this one down. With this one, I drive a horizontal elbow into his leg, right into the thigh. This is a shearing elbow, one where my left hand slaps the back side of his leg, and I elbow just above it, shearing. In the handwork section of reflex action, we did this in Key Lock Hands 3 Plus, where this comes across, slap it down, and then I sheared. If you'll recall, I'm doing the same thing down here that I did with the hacksaw, where I ducked and I went across here with a hack. Now I ducked and I come across with the elbow. As with the hacksaw method, you can elbow his leg, duck away, elbow the leg, and then apply the Lanka to the other leg. Same method, different tool. Let's say you're down here. However you got here, you are in a disadvantaged position. If he's good with his legs, you've got to consider the possibility that he might slam you with his knee. What you want to do is use some of your other options that you have, because you've got plenty of them. Your arm, for example, is still longer than his thigh. So to neutralize any threat from a knee strike, nail him right in the pods. That'll take any sting out of the knee he's planning, and it will set you up nicely for a shearing horizontal right elbow to his leg. Let me show you. This is one of my favorite shell drills. I mean, for me, it ranks right up there with the palm strike to the groin. And you really don't have to be concerned about his reaction from the groin strike, because this is just a drill. Were it an actual fight, I would have whacked him in the groin, but I most likely would not have gone for the thigh. I'd go with whatever flowed right. Like this. These shell drills are two-man drills in the obvious sense. You and a partner are working them. But they are also two-man drills in another sense, for both players actually benefit from the practice, not just the defender, the one ducking away. The attacker, the one standing up and swinging his arms, benefits when, for example, he concentrates on rotating his hip into the strike and aligning his knees as if preparing to strike himself. He's practicing good stance and body dynamics. The shell drill is an excellent leg conditioning tool, and one that keeps my legs and my lungs in shape. It'll flat work you. But as with any exercise, this drill only works certain muscles. Let's look at another leg drill one that works a little differently, and we call it, for obvious reasons, the Rocky drill. We call this next drill the Rocky drill because it's very close to the one Sly Stallone used in the Rocky movie. Remember? Yo, Adrian! He was training to fight Ivan Drago. He was in that barn. And part of his training had him bobbing and weaving under a rope, something like this one. Watch this. You can do it coming up with punches. You can do it however you want. The thing of it is, this is a great drill. It's a real leg killer. You get down low, you come back up. It's a drill. It has practical applications, but it's a drill. Rigging a rope this way makes this an excellent solo drill. But if you can't string a rope with enough length to walk it, you can still work it